Today's episode, the last one of 2024. I cannot believe I'm saying this. The year has absolutely flown by. We will be back in the saddle, and the network will be live for content that is local for you on Monday, January 6th. We're going to take the rest of December and the early few days of January to spend time with our families. I'm heading up the coast to Long Island for a long week. Judah is hunkering down with his loved ones here in the Urban Ring, 5th Street Extended, with his sisters visiting from California. We have some cool things planned for the I Love CVille Network in 2025, things that I'm very excited to introduce to you as we get closer and closer to the start of a new year. What we try to do with this network is every single month we invest money into it to improve it. Money, whether it's new microphones, new lighting, improved cameras, computer equipment, the ability to stream to other social media, podcasting, and internet platforms. Just a reimagining of what we call the water cooler of conversation. We want to be the conductors of local content here on the network, and we hope we do a good job of that. I have a lot I want to cover today, including the top stories of the year, top stories as they apply to the University of Virginia, schools, restaurant, real estate, business brokerage, and human interest, sports as well. Today, it's the I Love CVille Show, the 2024 version of yesteryear's newspaper, various sections that bring, we hope, conversation starters to you. Before we get to these top stories of the year, we encourage you, the viewer and listener, to like and share the show. Like it, share it, help us spread the gospel. The only thing we ask for you is to share the show, participate in the show, pass along your ideas. Judah, we have presents that have been delivered to us here at the I Love CVille Network. Do you want to go to the studio camera? And then, well, first, how do you want to execute the presents? Should I just hold them up here? Is that what's best? Okay, there's a couple in this community, a husband and wife, and I hope they hear this. If you know this husband and wife, make sure they hear this. Chris and Tracy Crowley. Remember this team, Chris and Tracy Crowley. Tracy dropped off a tin and tray of just absolutely beautiful Christmas cookies. Can they see this here, Judah?
Move it a little more in front of you.
Right there?
Yeah, that's good.
Why don't I take them out of the tray? I'm opening the tray. I mean, the artwork and the skill and the talent here. I mean, look at this. She made these from scratch. Look at this Christmas tree. Absolutely amazing. Look at this. Tracy Crowley, you got skills to pay the bills. And I'll leave it at that. Look at this.
I think it's a monster.
Look how thick that is.
I was going to say, show the side view.
That's girth right there. That is a monster right there. I want to say thank you to Tracy Crowley for baking these cookies for the I Love CVille team. I think my kids will get most of these. I will make sure Judah gets some as well. Judah, you're not much of a sweets person, are you? You like sweets, right?
I don't go out of my way to find sweets, but when with good ones like Ginny Who's cookies, I'll make an exception.
I want you, and we'll let them break the news, and then we'll welcome them to the program in January or February. But remember the name Chris and Tracy Crowley. They're going to have a significant impact, guys, on the business community here in Central Virginia. I also want to thank Vanessa Parkhill, the Queen of Earlysville, for swinging by the show. She dropped off 2 Christmas bags at the studio. The first bag is, whoa, Vanessa, this bag is quite heavy, this bag. I'm one that has grown to appreciate cards now the older I get, Judah. Before I was very quick to disregard the handwritten card. Now I'm very appreciative of the handwritten card. And in this Christmas bag, which you see right here, the Christmas bags are beautiful. I also appreciate a beautiful gift bag. Mm-hmm. Okay. In this Christmas bag is a handwritten card from Vanessa Parkhill, who is the Queen of Earlysville. I first got to know Vanessa Parkhill and her family through the athletic exploits, the athletic talents of her son, Lee. This card says, Jerry and Judah, you two regularly lift my spirits, challenge me with your perspectives, and keep me informed. Thank you. I wish you and your families a great Christmas and a happy 2025. Best, Vanessa Parkhill. And in this very heavy Christmas bag is a top shelf bottle of rye bourbon. Vanessa, this is a fantastic addition to the studio bar. Knob Creek Bourbon Rye, 113 proof. This will put a little hair on Judah's chest over there, a little hair on Judah's back. I don't know about you, Judah. The older I'm getting, the more I'm finding hair on my chest, hair on my back, hair on my ears and nose, and less on my head. Such is life, right? Thank you, Vanessa Parkhill, for this bottle of Knob Creek. This is a fantastic gift and will be positioned in the studio bar right when the show finishes. She also gave a gift to yours truly. She wrote this card. Jerry, when I heard about this book, you were one of the first people I thought of. Given your passion for family, I thought you might appreciate the story of reconciliation. Dads are very important. And the book is titled A Lot Like Me, A Father and Son's Journey to Reconciliation. And this was written by a firebrand popular radio host, Larry Elder. Conservative firebrand and popular radio host Larry Elder. I will read this, Vanessa Parkhill, over the holidays. I'm grateful for this gift, for this book. I'm grateful for this bottle of bourbon. Tracy Crowley, I'm grateful for these artisan baked goods. They're absolutely delicious, and I can't wait to share them with my family. And that includes friends, the family you choose. Judah Wickhauer, that is you. And I'm most grateful for the handwritten cards that were provided. I first met Vanessa and her son Lee and her late husband Gary Parkhill in the Central Virginia sports scene when I was a sports writer, television broadcaster, and radio broadcaster, Daily Progress, ESPN Radio, and NBC 29. Her son Lee, just a tremendous talent on the athletic gridiron, lacrosse, anything he picked up, he was very good at. And I was taken aback with how supportive Vanessa and Gary were with all their kids, and what I saw firsthand, how they attended all these athletic activities, all these games for Lee, and were always positive and always supportive of not just their son, but all the athletes. And as I mature as a parent, and as my wife and I mature as a married couple and parent to two young boys, we realize how challenging parenthood is. And parenthood is not a, being right every time. There's no roadmap or there's no, connect the dots plan of attack where you're right every time. But if you get up each morning and you, as my wife and I like to say, make the donuts, and our metaphorical make the donuts is get up, show up, and do the best we can with what we got on that given day for our boys, then that's what parenthood is. It's getting up, showing up, and doing the best you can on any and every given day. I learned that from Mr. Greg Wells, the second generation owner of Interstate Pest and Service Company, who took it from one man and one truck and payphones and turned it into a company that was purchased by a global conglomerate. Mr. Greg Wells was just an amazing businessman and someone that I learned from tremendously. And one of the things that I enjoy about running the businesses that we run, whether it's a branding and advertising agency, business brokerage, a venture fund, consultation that helps clients grow market share, or the real estate holdings we have, is I get to learn so much from the people we work alongside. It seems like every day I'm learning something from someone, and I do not take that for granted. I love this community. That's one of the things I most love about doing the I Love CVille show is every day we have to prepare for at least an hour, and most days 2 hours straight of content that's tied to Charlottesville, Albemarle, and Central Virginia. That makes us better community evangelists, better business people, I hope better bosses. I think Judah may say otherwise from time to time. And I know better parents, better dad, better husband. Today's show, I think, is going to embody that. We're going to talk on today's program about some of the top stories of the year, Judah. I'm going to ask you, the audience, what's the top UVA story of 2024? What is the top public schools or private school story of 2024? What was the top restaurant story of 2024? What was the top real estate story of 2024? The top business brokerage story of 2024? Top human interest story of 2024? We'll highlight the transfer portal success that UVA is having. Ladies and gentlemen, Virginia just secured one of the top defensive linemen in the country, an Alabama transfer. Sources confirm with the Daily Progress, with JerryRatcliffe.com, that Alabama's Hunter Osborne, a former top 200 prospect in the recruiting class of 2022, has committed to UVA through the transfer portal. Clearly, he is being paid significant money to come to Charlottesville to play football, where he will have 3 years of eligibility. Tony Elliott has to reimagine 60% of his roster, and he's using the portal to do that. We'll talk about that on today's program. I want to give some love to the Vermillion family, Judah. John and Andrew Vermillion, 60 consecutive years of business at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. If you want to see businesses like John and Andrew Vermillion's Charlottesville Sanitary Supply make it another 60 years, you got to support them. And you support them in person on East High Street, or you support them online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. These businesses are the backbones of our community. The Wells family with Interstate, Ted Anderson and Susan Anderson at Anderson Seafood and Catering. I mean, talk about a special story. Let me take a moment to highlight Ted Anderson and Susan Anderson. Make sure Ted Anderson hears this, ladies and gentlemen. The Anderson family had a seafood and carriage house across from Barracks Road Shopping Center, where the tavern used to be located. Meadowbrook Shopping Center was located. Anderson's I first patronized as a student at the University of Virginia. I was the social chair and the rush chair for Phi Kappa Psi, the fraternity that is right at the end of the Mad Bowl down Rugby Road. And I was entrusted somehow by the Brotherhood to take the fraternity credit card and to go buy kegs for parties or for rush events, social gatherings. And I went to Anderson's to buy these kegs. And in the process of buying kegs for Phi Kappa Psi, I fell in love with what Anderson's had to offer. Their soups. I fell in love with their salads. I fell in love with their seafood. I fell in love with the family. And Anderson's, ladies and gentlemen, withstood the test of time and is now approaching, 100 years, Judah, of business operation? The shopping center across from Barracks Road has gone through significant change. We've watched compelling and institutional and friendly and generational businesses like the Tavern, like Anderson's, like Meadowbrook Shopping Center, get replaced by Fortune 100 publicly traded companies like CVS. We're good with that connection?
Which one?
All of them? Connection is good?
I would say all of them.
Okay.
Most of them are good.
Okay, thank you. My point is this. Today, Anderson's, Ted and Susan, are operating on Ivy Road under a tent, selling the freshest and best seafood that Central Virginia can buy. You have a couple that's grown up in this community that is under a tent on Ivy Road in temperatures in the teens, selling oysters and lobsters and crab cakes and shrimp and seafood that is priced better and more competitively than Wegmans, than anywhere else you can buy. They figured out a way to pivot, transition, and survive. And they're doing it despite blistering hot temperatures in the summer and terribly cold temperatures in the winter. The community is rallied around Ted and Susan Anderson. They're ordering through their website. They're ordering in person. It's the type of story that we want to see continue, just like the Vermillions, just like the Wells family, just like Johnny Ornelas and Mexicali. Johnny's family brings Guadalajara to Central Virginia. Johnny's family brings El Mariachi to Zion's Crossroads. Johnny and River bring Mexicali to the old World of Beer location. I've learned the older I've gotten that it's important to patronize locally owned businesses if you want them to survive, especially in today's digital age where the internet is cannibalizing price points, margins, and most importantly, negatively impacting the small business owner. Jude, I want to weave you in here on a two-shot. And I want to ask you, from a University of Virginia standpoint, Vanessa says she absolutely loves Andersons. Vanessa, we love you. From a UVA standpoint, the top story of the year, there's a lot of them.
How do you pick one?
There's the alleged fraudulent billing. There's the alleged medical chart changing to maintain performance standards.
Alleged bullying.
Alleged bullying at UVA Health by C-suite executives to maintain power and control. There's the Board of Visitors transition under Governor Youngkin's watch, where it's now a majority of Youngkin appointees.
Who possibly don't all agree with each other.
Potentially do not agree with each other. Appointed by Youngkin to change the culture at UVA nevertheless. Can they find common ground to change that culture? Only time will tell. There's the story of someone calling the state police to pepper spray students at an early May pro-Palestine protest.
Yep.
A story that garnered national, if not global, headlines. Arrests were made. Those arrests have since been erased. There's the story of Jim Ryan losing control. Jim Ryan and the administration unwilling, at least until this point, to release an audit report of a mass murder that happened on grounds with 3 Virginia football players, others injured in the deadly shooting. Mm-hmm. There's the dismantling of University of Virginia Greek life. I'm a Phi Kappa Psi at UVA. I learned this while sitting in a steam room. You ready for this? UVA's Phi Kappa Psi is owned by OG brothers, very elder statesman brothers that are on the back end of their lives. And there's a little bit of conflict between this back end brotherhood, this back end contingent of owners that own the house, and today's crop of pledges and brothers that live in the house. And this has caused friction. And the friction has caused the lack of upkeep to the house, which has frustrated the folks living in the house. So now you have one of the most iconic locations on grounds at the University of Virginia, Phi Kappa Psi at the end of the Mad Bowl, that I would not say is in peril. I was not in purgatory, but is in a little bit of question. We know that the owners of this house could easily exit to the University of Virginia to the tune of many, many, many millions of dollars. But they're choosing for now to be the landlords of the 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026 students and brothers. Eventually, will Greek life be crushed by the University of Virginia as it eyes expansion, as it eyes these southern mansions that are crumbling, that are in disarray because its tenants, its brotherhood, its sisterhood are negligent in maintenance? We know the University of Virginia would want all of the houses up and down Rugby Road. And University of Virginia would want all those houses to expand into administrative offices, academic offices, fundraising offices, whatever they see fit. Is this one of the top stories of how the University of Virginia is using fear tactics, middle management, politics, public perception to somewhat dismantle Greek life? What is your top story for UVA this past year?
I mean, that's a tough one, but man, what have we? I think I got to go with. I've got to go with the debacle about the health system, because that affects not just the livelihoods, but the lives of people.
Tony Bennett could be in that mix, retiring 3 weeks before the season starts, leaving the team without its North Star, its compass, its moral lighthouse.
I still think the medical story is bigger. I mean, that may be big for sports fans, but ultimately, I mean, UVA is on a roller coaster of good teams and bad teams, and succeeding in sports and not succeeding in sports. But like I said, I think this is this affects the livelihoods of people working at UVA Health. It affects the people that use UVA Health. If they're getting fraudulently charged or mischarged, that is these are people that, oftentimes people going in for medical treatments aren't fully covered. Even if they are, they still have out-of-pocket expenses. And to think, even to suspect that the health system that you're consigning, that you're
Counting
health,
on, that you have trust on.
your own health, the health of your family, your children, is potentially what's the word I'm looking for?
Negligent, dishonest, unaccountable, cheating you, robbing you, manipulating your medical charts for their benefit and not your gain, taking your hard-earned dollars by sending you fraudulent billing.
If even some of that is true, I think this is by far the biggest UVA story of the year.
I think the top story is clearly that one. I agree with Judah. A third-party law firm is now investigating the alleged corruption at UVA Health. Will we know what happens? Time will tell. Do we think we know what will happen? Probably not. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Will the UVA PR, public relations machine, try to spin this story by delaying outcomes, by delaying reports, by offering no comments to local media, knowing that local media is fresh from college graduates that are just churning copy barely above minimum wage? UVA knows that. They know the game is release information late on a Friday afternoon.
They've already
Wait out the reporters that are only going to be here for 2 years, and when a fresh crop comes in, they won't have the connections or memory or commitment to the stories that were previously reported. They know that. Mm-hmm. It was a disappointing year for the university, and it started early in the calendar. Pepper spraying students with a militarized state police was a terrible look.
Even before that, we thought we were getting the audit of the murders.
The mass murders, the report not being released. We're told that's coming in February. Do I believe it's going to come in February? Only time will tell. Jim Ryan going from all shucks, Mr. Rogers, tie at half mast, button-down shirt, slightly wrinkled, sleeves rolled up to his elbows, addressing the university community during COVID and the pandemic, a likable and approachable leader of the university, to today, a man that is slandering the Daily Progress. Today, a man that is having to cover up public relations nightmares left and right. Today, a man that is being linked and rumored to other leadership positions at other universities. A guy who goes from come run with me around grounds, around Charlottesville in the wee hours of the morning. I want everyone to come. To today, a guy that's avoiding comment, a guy that's quiet during Board of Visitor meetings as Youngkin has total control of the board, as Bert Ellis tries to gain more control, a Youngkin appointee. It's not been a good year for the president of the University of Virginia.
No.
Tony Bennett retiring, surprising the team. Look, Tony Bennett, in my book, walks on water and can take a few loaves and a few fishes and feed the John Paul Jones Arena. And he's done that through national championships, ACC tournament victories, and ACC regular season championship crowns. But we have to be honest with ourselves. What Tony Bennett did to the men's basketball team this year was leave it in a very bad position. He retired weeks before the season started, and he threw a boatload of responsibility and attention and frankly, probably unfair scrutiny on Ron Sanchez, his lieutenant of decades. And today the team is struggling. He deserves some of that culpability and accountability, and it pains me to say that. They barely beat American University yesterday, a game that went down to the wire against American University, ladies and gentlemen, a team that North Carolina crushed, a team that North Carolina is a shadow of its former self in the Atlantic Coast Conference, UNC. A lot we're going to cover from a University of Virginia standpoint in 2025. What happens to the UVA Health story? How short is Jim Ryan's runway? Does Carla Hernandez maintain her job as the athletic director? Her contract is set to expire right now at the end of May. Does she get renewed? Who's going to do the national search? Does she want to get renewed? Does she want to get renewed? Great point, Judah. Who's going to do the national search for the basketball coach? If a football national search for the coaches is needed, who's going to do that? Do we see the audit report of the mass murder with the football players? Is Greek life on shaky ground, or can it persevere? So many stories for the driving force of our community, the University of Virginia. The second headline as you rotate lower thirds on screen. What's the second lower third?
Second lower third, what was the top school story?
What's the top public school story, private school story of the year? Is it the fact that every private school in this community is expanding and looking to add more students to its student body? John Blair, I'll get to your comments in a matter of moments. Is the top public school story of the year the fact that people are still resisting and fighting metal detectors at entrances to public schools? That people are still fighting school resource officers at public schools? Is the top story of the year as it pertains to public schools the disenchantment with the superintendent, Dr. Matthew Haas? Is the top school story of the year, ladies and gentlemen, some of the troubles that Charlottesville High School has had, letting adults in through side doors, rumbles and tumbles and bumbles and fights? Is it the cell phone restrictions? Is it the fact that cell phones are now seen as the mortal enemy? Of course they should. Of course they should not be in the hands of students. Is it the top school story of the year, that one that just came out in the Daily Progress 2 days ago? Charlottesville students and teachers will have 2 more days off of school starting next year. They're going to be mental wellness days designed to give teachers a break, once in the fall and once in the spring. Mental wellness days now worked into the calendar at Charlottesville High School. Are the top stories of the year the fighting, the books kids are reading, the attrition with staff and teachers, the cell phone policies from Governor Youngkin and the governor's mansion?
School boards leaving the school board association.
School boards? School board dominance by one party? Private schools expanding enrollment left and right? A lot of fodder from public schools and private schools in Central Virginia. Mm-hmm. Is it the fact that students in public schools are learning in trailers at a prolific rate? The fact that Albemarle County clearly needs another high school, especially in the northern portion of the county? So much fodder from a public and private school standpoint for a content creator like Judah Wickhauer and yours truly. Is it the standardized testing scores that are dropping and decreasing and diminishing? And why are they dropping, decreasing, and diminishing? Is it the school bus driver shortage that persists?
Not as bad as it was, fortunately.
Where do you start? Where do you end? One thing's for certain, this show will follow. Unafraid to ask the tough questions or have the uncomfortable conversation. We have metal detectors and police officers at athletic events, but we don't have them when students enter the front entrance of a school. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Next headline. What do you got, Judah Wickhauer? Put it on screen.
Top restaurant story.
This one's fantastic for a content creator, and unfortunately it's rooted in sad news. Do you say it's Mel's?
Oh, man.
Do you say it's Blue Moon Diner? Do you say it's Moose's by the
Blue
Creek?
Moon, Moose's.
Lumpkins? I mean, do you say it's Jax's and Crozet?
We've also got fires. We've got vandalizations.
Vicelli's Pizza catches fire?
Mm-hmm.
What's the vandalization? Remind me.
I think that was Vicelli's too. Somebody set the fire outside of Vacay. There was the Ace Biscuit and Barbecue that got $50,000 worth of damage by a former employee.
A tarnished, fired employee breaks into Ace and destroys Aces.
We've had several other fires. I believe Sal's Cafe Italia had a fire. Fortunately, I think people coming in the morning saw it and put it out before too much damage was done. But still, I mean, it's terrible that so many places have been hit by fire. Who was it? There's a restaurant that just opened back up after a fire like 2 or 3 years ago. I believe it's a Thai restaurant.
Oh, yeah, in Fry Spring Station.
Yeah.
The Thai restaurant a couple doors down from Guadalajara and Fry Springs just reopened after a fire. But for every sad story, there's a positive story. Moose and Amy go from Moose's and Hogwaller to opening up the Boyd Tavern in Keswick. I salute the ladies for their entrepreneurial journey that takes them to the Boyd Tavern. Very impressed with what you're going to do, and I know you're going to kill it there. That's an untapped market, a captive market that needs F&B solutions. You're going to crush it there. I've been told the new owner of Mel's Cafe, who's changing the name, is being run through the ringer by City Hall and the health department, and that's why he's not open. I'll try to follow that story for you, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm surprised that that's even possible. I thought the owner was going to sell that building, that entire building, right?
It's now going to continue as a restaurant if he can get open.
Wow.
At least for now. There's the story of Croby's changing hand. Mm-hmm. The Croby's team, Shannon and her family, Rob, beloved down Avon Extended. Kit and her team, Ashy, our clients, we helped broker that deal. Yeah. Tangerine Kitchen, now on Avon Extended. And an extension of her Thai empire, Monsoon, coconuts, pineapples, tangerine. The place on Pantops, was it Maple Pine?
Yeah.
She bought the old coffee shop right here down the downtown mall. What was that called at one time? That roastery.
Which one are you talking about?
Over there by Staples.
You're talking Millie's.
Millie's. She purchased that as well. Mm-hmm. For me, the loss of Mel's, Lumpkin's, Blue Moon Diner, and Moose's in the same calendar year is a crushing turn of events for a community that cherishes charm and memory.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Moose's, Blue Moon Diner, Lumpkin's, and Mel's, a combined 122 years of serving our community. I put that on the I Love CVille Network. Others were very quick to highlight. Sure, it was 18 years for Blue Moon Diner, Jerry. But remember, before it was Blue Moon Diner, there was a number of other iterations there as well. So having that restaurant close or go dark for now is disappointing and devastating for much in the community. Anyone that's considering closing or selling their restaurant doors, I very much encourage you to reach out to us first. We're having tremendous success brokering business deals in the food and beverage space, finding young blood and new blood to open. Kevin Higgins highlights Anna's Pizza. Kevin Yancey highlights Champion Brewing Company and all its collateral damage. Kevin Yancey and Kevin Higgins, we love and appreciate you, Mayor of Waynesboro and Mayor of Greenwood.
And that was a lot of collateral damage, too.
A lot of collateral damage from the collapse of Hunter Smith's brewery empire, food and beverage empire. Ginny Hu says, with public schools, homeschool numbers have jumped as well, fellas. She thanks Judah again for the compliment on her cookies and all the orders that you have made with Ginny's Delights.
I've had much success with everywhere they've gone. Everyone's in love. So thank you, Ginny.
Bill McChesney says, Anderson Seafood started in Albemarle Square. Giving us a little history right there. Vanessa says she loves Ted Anderson and Susan Anderson. Lisa Costello has comments. Andersons bought shadfish from my Native American husband who fished it from the Mattapony River in King William County. My Native American husband delivered the shadfish directly to Anderson's Charlottesville. Kevin Higgins said Anderson's had a second location in the back end of the Aldi's parking lot. I think that building may have been demolished. I love history. That's what we try to do with this program. John Blair watching the program. I want to wish you and Judah the happiest of holidays. I don't think it's an exaggeration to state that the top real estate story of 2024 was the absolute unadulterated failure of the city of Charlottesville's new zoning ordinance. We're now over a year in, and the zoning ordinance appears to have produced fewer housing units in 2024 than were produced in 2023. On a much happier note, the top business story of 2024 has to be Afton Scientific's expansion in Albemarle County. Keep those lower thirds rotating depending on the topic we're talking about. Afton Scientific could be business brokerage if you want to highlight that one. Afton Scientific announced a $200 million Albemarle County expansion in October. This is huge news. Afton Scientific, a manufacturer of sterile injectable pharmaceuticals, plans to invest over $200 million to expand its manufacturing facility in Albemarle County. Governor Glenn Youngkin made the announcement in early October. The expansion is projected to create more than 200 jobs. This company was founded in Charlottesville in 1991 by Thomas Thorpe. Afton Scientific is a contract development and manufacturing organization providing comprehensive services including drug development and manufacturing, biotechnology. I want everyone listening to this program. We have been on the forefront of covering this on the I Love CVille Network for at least 5 years. Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia, these are my words, are going to be a significant epicenter, a countrywide leader in biotechnology. Paul Manning, the money behind much of the Chris Henry real estate development projects, donated $100 million at the end of last year. At the end of last year, his Paul and Diane Manning Institute of Biotechnology down Fontaine Avenue broke ground. It's led by Paul and Diane Manning's $100 million donation. This $100 million donation is going to create an epicenter for biotechnology on Fontaine for UVA. 8,000 to 10,000 direct and indirect employees tied to this biotech epicenter. And that's just tied to that. You're going to see offshoots spring out. And biotechnology is going to be one of the driving forces of the economy in Albemarle, Charlottesville, and Central Virginia. Some would say that's great news. Good news for property values. Good news for the economy. Good news for disposable income. Good news for UVA. Others will say that's how the working class gets gentrified out of Central Virginia. You tell me where an additional 8,000 to 10,000 people are going to move and live. Where are they going to buy? Where are they going to go? All happening at the same time that the defense sector is expanding. $250 million Waynesboro facility where the average worker is making $94,000. Northrop Grumman. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to live? What are they going to buy? How's it going to change the dynamics of our community? 2023 family median household income, $123,400. Guess what? In 2024, that number is going to be even higher. We'll get that number. No. 2024, that number is going to get higher. We're going to get the number in 2025.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll find out that number in the first quarter of 2025. It was $124,200, the family median household income. That number will be even higher. Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? What are they going to buy? Follow the trends. Look beyond the headlines and ask the tough questions, even if they make people feel uncomfortable. That's what we're trying to do on this talk show. For me, some of the top real estate stories of the year, Judah Wickhauer. How about the city offering Piedmont Housing Alliance and Habitat for Humanity of the Charlottesville area a multi-million-dollar lifeline to buy a trailer park on Carlton Avenue? How about that? Mm-hmm. The free market's looking to buy the trailer park and convert it to housing. Instead, we give a loan to nonprofit developers to buy the trailer park and they're going to keep it a trailer park for 3 years before they break ground, literally throttling housing. How about the sale of Cavalier Crossing? As you're rotating lower thirds, right? This is the real estate one. Cavalier Crossing sells for $20,500,000 to an out-of-market REIT from Alexandria, taking workforce housing out of the mix. How about the sale of a large portion of the villas at Southern Ridge, where I have a rental property? Workforce housing going out of the ecosystem. Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? What are they going to buy? So much to cover. So much to follow. So much to watch. And we're going to do just that from our little vantage point in Perch in downtown Charlottesville on the corner of Market and 4th. A hop, skip, and a jump from the police station, the courthouses, and parallel to the downtown mall. What's your next headline?
Top human interest story.
What do you got for that?
That's a good question.
Logan Wells-Clalo, thank you for watching the program. Lisa Costello, happy holidays to you. And she says, same to all the viewers and listeners of the show. Ginny Hu, we appreciate you. Human interest for you, Judah. What do you got?
I've got to give that one some thought. Top human interest story, I would, let's see. I mean, we had the wonderful people from the toy lift. We had Dave Fafara on. We had Tom Powell on. They've been doing amazing work for years and years and years. I got to put that up near the top.
35 years of the toy lift?
Yeah, finding out that Tom had to be forced off the lift because because the EMTs were pretty certain that he was probably going to start losing fingers and toes if he didn't come down and warm up. I mean, that's Dave and Tom are amazing people, even without that on their pedigree, but they have worked tirelessly to help brighten the holidays for. I don't even know the number of kids, and that's truly.
Toy lift's a great one. Mm-hmm. How about the reimagining of the dairy market, a much scrutinized development in the heart of the city on Preston Avenue, where we've seen a number of vendors close, where we've seen Dino, a friend of the program, take up even more stalls. The dairy market should be named Dino's Market. Mm-hmm. Dino's Market. I hope Dino hears this. A guy that knows how to lead people, a guy who knows how to run food and beverage businesses, a guy who understands hospitality, a generous and gregarious businessman. Dino's Market. We have duck pin bowling coming to Dino's Market. We have Dino taking over a burger stand, Dino bringing a bakery, Dino expanding Dino's, pizza and rotisserie chicken, Basta Pasta, and Moo-Through.
Yep.
How about that for a real estate and cultural story? How about a real estate and cultural story? The sale of the Quirk Hotel. The Quirk is no more. What is it, the Doyle? Is that what it's called now? The Quirk Hotel is no more. How about that one, ladies and gentlemen? The Ucrops family exits its position on West Main. A $24 million deal. The Doyle, it's rebranded. How about, and speaking of hotels, the Graduate on the corner has a new franchise that's running it. Changes at Ix Park as it looks to stay relevant. Even Barracks Road is trying to give itself a facelift. Publicly traded Federal Realty owns Barracks Road. Downtown Mall, you talk about a cultural story. How about the crossroads of supporting the houseless while also doing justice to the downtown mall, the most important 8 blocks at a 300,000 person region? How do you offer a hand up to the 200 to 300 houseless people in our community? A hand up, not a hand out, while also not doing a disservice to business owners and merchants and retailers and restaurateurs on the most important 8 blocks in the region. How does that happen? Sam Sanders has that predicament on his plate.
Yeah. What do you do when everybody that claims they're a YIMBY is actually a NIMBY when it comes to your own neighborhood?
Everyone wants a low barrier shelter built. Low barrier shelters strategized, solutionized for the thrift store on Cherry Avenue. Salvation Army. We'll take our thrift store and convert it into a low barrier shelter. Guess what? A lot of the folks in Fifeville said, no way, Jose.
And that's not to throw shade at Fifeville.
I'm not throwing shade at all at Fifeville.
No, I know. I'm just saying that.
I got 2 young kids. Would I want folks in a low barrier shelter that are convicted pedophiles, sex crime convictions on their record?
Anywhere near you or your kids? I know. And so that's what I'm pointing out is the fact that this is not a put down on Fifeville. This is pointing out the fact that we are all Fifeville when this happens.
Bingo. Kevin Higgins points to Home Depot, one of the most important developers Home Depot guys is, with what they're doing with Fashion Square Mall.
Yeah.
Not only are they doing a Home Depot business at Fashion Square Mall, but they are trusted by Albemarle County, by local government, to reimagine the entryway to Albemarle County's urban ring.
And help fill the
Red Lobster.
Red Lobster spot.
Ginny Hu says, while you all certainly deserve a vacation, I'm going to miss hearing you 5 days a week. We're going to miss it as well. We have changes planned for the network that are going to make it even better. Changes that Judah Wickhauer isn't even privy to. Get ready and giddy up. Monday, January 6th, we're back on air. So many stories. Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia are the gift that keeps on giving. Greene County running out of water. Orange County running out of water. Lake Monticello, the water's too expensive. Housing getting out of control from a pricing standpoint. UVA expanding. Biotech expanding. How do you keep affordability? A new zoning ordinance that's flopped. Where's development going to go in a throttled and strangled 10.2 square mile city? How are you going to improve public transportation? Are electric buses the best way when they break down and have a very low coverage area compared to fuel and gasoline buses? Should we have built housing on the banks of the Rivanna River? Should we take East High Street and the Rivanna River and turn it into a river walk? Is it the Venice of Charlottesville? Or is it going to continue being what I have said some would call the most underachieving portion of the community? What's going to happen at Cherry Avenue? Is a grocery store going to come to fruition? The Woodard family bought much of Cherry Avenue during COVID. What are their plans for another underachieving corridor, Cherry Avenue? How are they going to reimagine a historically black neighborhood, Fifeville? So many questions, so much to follow. Stefan Friedman, the owner of Ace Biscuit and Barbecue, the owner of Bonnie and Reed, the owner of Vacay Spirits, the owner of Draft Tap Room. When's he going to finally open Draft? He's agreed to come on the program after the holidays.
Oh, yeah. I just looked in there today, and it looks not as polished as it did the last time I looked in there.
They got the taps up. They got the floors done. They got the equipment out. When do they begin?
Yeah.
So much to do. So much to talk about. How about politics? How about government? Are Pinkston and Wade going to have any competition? Are the incumbents, Brian Pinkston, the vice mayor, and the incumbent Juan Diego Wade, the mayor, who are running on a ticket just like they did last year, will they have any competition in 2025? Are they going to run unopposed? Will ranked choice voting have any impact on city council? What's going to happen in Albemarle County? Ned Galloway, Diantha McKeel, Jim Andrews up for grabs. 3 of 6 seats. Will they have any opposition on the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors? Does the community continue to have one party, the Democratic Party, strangle ideology and the vision for a region?
course it will.
Or will there be some diversity of thought? Great question. So much to cover on this program. Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? Where are they going to live? How has Sam Sanders done so far? These are questions and topics we will continue to cover on the I Love CVille Show. We'll talk about the transfer portal. Put that lower third on screen. Virginia just secured a defensive lineman from Alabama. This guy at one time was a top 200 ranked player in the nation a couple years ago. He transfers from perennial power Alabama Crimson Tide to Charlottesville, where he's going to be one of the star players on defense. He clearly is being paid bank through NIL, through the Cav Collective, who has secured 2 significant donations. Some are saying that Virginia can be a top 12, top 13 program in the nation with what it can pay its athletes. Jerry Ratcliffe on the I Love CVille Network said Anthony Calandria was paid $800,000 to quarterback the team this past fall. How much is an Alabama star defensive lineman getting? Can Tony Elliott, who is clearly coaching for his job, as are his assistant coaches, save his job in 2025 by paying players to suit up at Scott Stadium? What's going to happen with Tony Bennett's program? Is Ron Sanchez the guy? How much attrition do we have with the transfer portal this year? With basketball clearly underachieving. So much to cover. Carla Williams, the athletic director's contract expires in May. Who's going to hire the head coaches if they have to terminate them? What's Tony Bennett's role in the department moving forward? Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? What are they going to buy? I'll close with this. While it's tremendous work doing this show, tremendous work, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy connecting with you guys. I enjoy staying at top of the news cycle. I enjoy following the deal flow. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy relaying things to you. I'm grateful for you watching and listening to the show. The show is a significant part of our day, a significant aspect of our payroll, significant. But we feel a sense of community responsibility to do the program. And I'm going to come out of the holidays invigorated and recharged. And I also will look to reimagine and further revitalize the network with some big plans. I thank you guys. I say Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I say Happy Holidays. Happy Holidays. I say Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. I'm a guy who grew up a religious mutt, raised Southern Baptist in a Jewish neighborhood at a Catholic school. And we close with this. You look at your neighbors, your friends, and your family, and the people that you come across in our community, and most of the people that you come across are centered-aisled in their ideology and their thoughts. They're very close to what you believe, very close to what you think. Most of us are. It's the very, very small minority of the population that is radicalizing ideology and thought and how we look at society. And that very small portion of the population that is radicalizing thought is manipulating us into thinking that we're wrong and should be quiet with our beliefs. I don't buy that. Most of the people you come across are a few shades of gray away from how you think. Open up and you will be surprised with what you will find. For Judah Wickower, my name is Jerry Miller. It's the I Love CVille Show.
Merry Christmas.